Hey everybody, this is James Wilson with MTBStrengthCoach.com, and what I wanted to talk to you today about is some ideas for cardio training. I've spoken with literally hundreds of riders from around the world, and one of the top things that people want is better endurance, better cardio endurance on their bike. The problem is though is that the way that mountain bikers are told to go about getting that endurance is pretty mind-numbing. The practice of having to put in a lot of aerobic base miles, spending 45 minutes, an hour, hour and a half or more on a trainer or a road bike, just putting in, countless mind-numbing base miles in order to build your aerobic base and VO2 max. I mean, realistically, most mountain bikers, myself included, would, we can think of about 1,000 other things we'd rather do than sit there. I mean, reading the phone book is slightly more exciting than sitting there, mindlessly pounding out base miles. And so what happens is a lot of riders just avoid the cardio training altogether. They figure if that's what it takes to get better, I'd rather just suffer on the trail than have to do that stuff. So, or maybe you're a rider who's bitten the bullet, said, all right, I know I need to do this. And so you started doing it and you logged the base miles and you're doing everything, right. But when it comes time to actually get on the trail and put that cardio to use, you find you're still lacking in some key areas. Most notably climbing, sprints, passing efforts, stuff like that. Most riders that do cardio training, tell me that they still feel like they're lacking in those areas, and so obviously something's not working. I mean, if the prescription for your problem is so bad you don't even want to do it, or you do it and you don't see results from it, something's not right. And so, in my opinion, one of the things that's really missing in a lot of mountain bikers programs is the use of interval training. And up until a few years back, interval training wasn't really proven by science to have much of an impact on your VO2 max, which is the way that science measures your ability to absorb and utilize oxygen. And so the idea was that you needed to do this aerobic base training, basically trying to sustain a certain heart rate zone for 45 minutes to an hour or more, in an effort to build your aerobic base and your VO2 max, and then that was going to help give you what you needed to sustain later training efforts. Well, again, like I said, the problem is it doesn't work a lot of times in the real world. And so what has been found, there have been a couple of studies come out lately that have shown that you actually get significant increases in VO2 max from a good interval training program. So not only are you building your anaerobic capacity, but you're also building your aerobic capacity as well. So you're killing two birds with one stone. The other great thing is these studies have shown that you can get these increases in VO2 max in much less time than with traditional aerobic training. In fact, one study in particular had the subjects do 3 20-minute workouts, basically consisting of 30-second sprints with 4 minutes rest. So they're working out 60 minutes total for the whole week. And they're comparing the increases in VO2 max to a group that did, an hour to an hour and a half 3 times a week. And so, one group is exercising 60 minutes total, and one group's exercising 3 to 4 hours each week, and they actually saw the same increases in VO2 max from both groups. So again, this idea that you have to engage in aerobic base training in order to build your VO2 max is simply not true. And so what I suggest that you do, probably one of the most popular methods is known as the Tabata method, and it's named after the Japanese research scientist who kind of invented and researched this technique. But what it consists of is 20 seconds of intense work with 10 seconds of rest, and that's a little mini interval. And you basically repeat those mini intervals 6 to 8 times before resting, getting yourself complete rest. Could take 5+ minutes for you to fully recover, and then doing one more round of those mini intervals. And so again, 20 seconds on, 10 seconds rest, repeat that 6 to 8 times, full recovery, maybe do it one more time. But that protocol there, like I said, which is known as the Tabata protocol, the study that was done on it showed huge increases in VO2 max from this protocol, some of the largest seen in any study, including studies done on aerobic training. So that's probably the easiest way for you to start realizing some of the power of interval training. as a mountain bike rider. So, you know, if you're the kind of rider that's avoided cardio training because you hated the thought of having to do it, you'll find that this takes much less time. It's much more entertaining, much less mind-numbing to do, so you can start doing this right away and start seeing benefits from it, you know, relatively soon. Or if you're already doing some sort of cardio program, you know, maybe replacing 1 or 2 of your base mile days with some interval training, again, will help save some wear and tear on you, keep you mentally fresh, and also really increase your anaerobic endurance, which I think is the missing key. We've got a lot of mountain bikers out there that have great aerobic fitness. You know, they're able to go at a sub-max rate for long periods of time, but when they get on the trail and they try to lay down a lot of effort to climb a hill or do something like that, they find that they just don't have that horsepower and the endurance to do that. It's because you don't train that with aerobic base miles. That's only trained through interval training. So not only are you getting aerobic fitness, you're actually getting much more mountain bike specific fitness out of interval training again. So, you know, again, try the Tabata method. It's extremely popular in a lot of circles, but for some reason hasn't really caught on much in mountain biking circles. But one of my favorite methods is using jump rope. You know, a trick to make sure that you're getting good intensity and keeping it there is to count how many jumps you're able to get in that first 20-second interval, and try to get as many jumps as you can, and then each subsequent little mini interval try to match or beat that number so that you know that you're not starting to dog it as you get tired, you know. So, you know, realistically getting about 50 jumps, give or take a few, in a 20-second interval is a good pace. And so, again, trying to maintain or beat that number each time will make sure that you're really doing what you need to. You got to, intensity is the key with intervals. So, you know, you may find that at first it takes you a little while to get used to not having to pace yourself and just go as hard as you can for those little mini intervals and really wear yourself out in a short period of time. But again, you know, a full Tabata workout is going to take you 15, 20 minutes to complete, and that's if you do 2 full rounds of the stuff. So, anyways, once again, it's been James Wilson with MTBStrengthCoach.com. Hope you've enjoyed this little cardio training tip. Again, there is cardio training for the rest of us. If you don't like sitting on a road bike, you don't like sitting on a trainer, you know, mindlessly pounding out base miles, you're not alone. You know, most of us don't want to do that. And luckily, there are strategies for the rest of us out there that will actually have you kicking butt on the trail in much less training time. So anyways, give the Tabatas a shot. I'm sure you'll appreciate the results.